I don't care who you are. You could be family. You could be a loved one. I do not care. You could be a friend for years. I do not care who you are. My mental health is important. What's poppin', Queen Squad? You already know it's your girl Angie, and I am back with another video. Okay guys, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to click on that notification bell so that you're alerted whenever we drop a video. So this video is a bit different, and again, I'm not editing. It's not that I'm lazy to edit, but it will lose the whole purpose of this video. So let's just talk. Let's just go straight in the video. First come first. First of all, let's acknowledge the skin, okay? Let's acknowledge the skin. Y'all, I created 2 masterpieces, and y'all know that I be using my products before I even release it out, or I let my sister use it before I release it out, just to see how it is with the skin, because my skin is sensitive, so I can tell how a product works based on my skin. And y'all, I'm telling you, it's a hit. Like, it's a hit. All right, but that's that. That's not about what I'm sitting in front of you about. I know it's been a while that you guys see my face, but this one is more of a very emotional, being very vulnerable with you guys. Yeah, I'm telling you from now, it might be a long video, and if you skip through it, you're gonna miss the whole point of the video. So if you really want to hear about my journey and how I got to this place in business, my current position or posture in business or in life in general, then you should put away the amount of time that this video gonna be, because it's gonna be very important. I know it's gonna help a lot of people. So with no other announcement or talking about no skin, yeah, all right guys, so last night I had a moment with God, just sitting down thinking about, you know, stuff that I have been through to get here. I remember, if no one knows, I am actually an author, and the name of my book is Survival 101, How to Survive on the Christian Journey. And I was just going through a path where I literally was trying to survive. Like, I was trying to survive. There's so many things that came in my way to have me to detour, caused me to lose myself as a believer in Christ, as a Christian. And I really pushed through. That's how I found my relationship. That's how I built my relationship with God. And it was through prayer. Like, prayer saved my life. And that's why I push people in praying and finding their posture in prayer and being in posture for prayer, because prayer is life. That's all I know how to do. All I know how to do to pray. When I'm confused, I turn to praying. When I'm depressed, I turn to praying. If I'm anxious or anxiety is taking over, I turn to prayer. That's literally all I know, because I know for a fact that I've tried people and people failed me. They disappointed me. They distracted me. People will fail you. They're humans too, and they will fail you. But I know for a fact the one person that would not fail me is God all by himself. Like, he's the almost best, y'all. His love is everything. And I know you're probably wondering, but Angelica, this is your business page. You have a whole different page for this. No, it ties into this, and I really wanted to share this with you guys. And even though I have 2 YouTube channels, that has nothing to do with my life, because here on the Angelic Cosmetic YouTube channel, I share everything with you guys. But this is something that I really want to share with you guys, because when I wrote my first book, God had given me names of others, and the second one was entitled towards like pain and my purpose and stuff like that. And I've yet to get the unction to write, but I know that God is already writing my story, and it's due time that he's going to have me write it on paper to actually scribe it. And I'm so excited for that. But let's go. Let's talk about the real D. And I really hope and pray that this really encourage y'all and motivate you guys to keep going. So my journey to being a whole business owner, my journey of finding peace, the journey of doing me and putting myself first, a journey where I put my mental health first. Let's talk about that. So who would have thought that God would literally allow me to be terminated from my job? I mean, racial discrimination. Whenever I look back at that situation, y'all, I'm telling you, it is so painful. It is so heartbreaking. I have never felt that type of pain. I've never felt anything like that. I mean, I've shared the story about, you know, me being racially discriminated on this page already. So you can definitely, you know, scroll the video. I'll put the link in the description below. But I'm telling you, like, I cried. But there was something about the whole situation of losing my job, being terminated, was the fact that I had some peace knowing that God had a plan. Because I'm like, God, this don't, because nothing made sense. How it ended, how it was terminated did not make any sense. And I'm like, all right, because a lot of times God is trying to move us out of a place. God is trying to give us better. God is trying to put us in our blessing, allow us to see it, and we can't see because we're so caught up in our current situation that is taking place around us. But it was like, listen, I gotta let this happen so I can take you out of it. It was just like that. So that happened. Started my business. My business literally launched out just so many different things, to body care, to hair care, to skincare, y'all. Yeah, if y'all know how my face was looking, y'all would know that it had to be God that gave me the skills, the talents, these recipes, the abilities to create these products, to make these products. Only God, he get the glory out of it, period, blank. He get the glory out of it. So God used that to to literally connect to another pain. But how he did it was use pain and pain. But the first pain that I felt was purpose for the second pain. So me losing my job, me hearing of my mother situation diagnosed with cancer, because I lost my job and because now I found that I have the ability to create these products, God used that pain to purpose the second one. So I was able to create these products for her. Now the situation got even more in depth because there was so much that I was dealing with emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. I felt like I lost myself, not spiritually, even to some aspect, because I know for a fact that I have the mantle of prayer. Like, I'm an intercessor without, no one has to tell me that. I know that for a fact. And I put it down because I've had moments where I'm like, yo, God, baby, sir, friend, this is scary. This is literally scary. You know, because listen, when God ordained you to be a watchman and an intercessor, you see things that people don't see. You enter some warfare and some levels that not everybody can go there. So it was a bit scary, and I wanted to literally protect my family, because there is something that always happens when I go to a certain realm or a certain level in God. You know, my family always come under attack because the enemy knows. If you don't know that, the enemy knows where he can hit you the most. And that's where you have to ask God, God, strengthen me in this area, right? But with that whole situation happen, I literally lost myself where that is concerned. I wasn't praying how I used to pray. I didn't have the relationship that I used to have with God. So that was affected. Mentally, it was a lot. Like, last semester in school was so much. Like, when I entered into 2021, I said, God, I need to see a therapist or somebody to help me navigate these feelings, to help me navigate where these traumas start from. Because something about me that I'm willing to look into myself. I'm willing to see where I've done wrong or where I could be better. I'm willing to always improve myself. And I've realized that I was going through a cycle that I no longer wanted to go in. And I decided to take the step in seeking for help. And honestly, if it wasn't for my counselor, my therapist that I had last semester, I don't think I would have been able to go through that semester. Like, I'm so grateful and so thankful for her. And it helped me to speak about some stuff that I was holding inside of me. It also helped me to find ways in coping. I mean, I took on walking. I walk every day, you know, just to clear my mind and, you know, stuff like that, because some of the coping methods that I had was no longer working. So I had to find different ways, and I couldn't seem to navigate where all of this was coming from. So she helped me with that. So I 100% recommend having a therapist, a counselor, whatever the case may be, because people is like, oh, but all I'm gonna do is just sit there and just no, it's more than that. They help you to navigate where these feelings are coming from, where you should go, the direction. They're not gonna tell you what to do. They're gonna help you to release all the things that you have in your mind. Because even some things that you're thinking about, the back of your head that you didn't know it was there, and it's there. Having a therapist, get on it. It will help you to be a better person. It will help you to improve, even mentally, emotionally. So I was doing good with school, managing everything. But I finally realized, and I'm going to get emotional, I'm sorry. I finally realized why those things was happening and why I was losing myself. So oftentimes we hear people struggling with depression, struggling with anxiety, right? And it's looked down upon. Now we see where people are taking their mental health seriously. People are now speaking up about the anxiety and depression. And thumbs up to y'all. I'm so proud of you guys for taking that step and for talking up. But a lot of people have hidden these feelings and these emotions, and this is why we see the suicide rates go up, because people are hiding these things that they're feeling. And really and truly, you become depressed because you feel like you cannot share your emotions. You're holding everything that you want to say. And that can be caused by traumas, things that you have went through that have caused you to hold in these emotions. So now you dive into your thoughts, you dive into your emotions, all kind of things come out, because honestly, whatever you feel, you should be able to say it, right? But, you know, some of us have been raised to shun our emotions. Some of us have been raised where, oh, don't say that, you're disrespectful. I do agree that there are certain things, you can say things, you can get your message out there without being disrespectful, but shutting somebody down from expressing their emotion doesn't help. If they say something and it's disrespectful, then you tell them, even as a child, you say, I hear you, but how about saying it this way and getting out your message respectfully where I can hear? Because a lot of times people are saying stuff, but on the other end, the receiver, they're hearing the disrespect and not necessarily what you're saying. So, you know, there is ways about going in helping somebody express themselves rather than shutting them down. And you're not telling them what to do. You're just, you know, showing them how to get their message out there without being disrespectful. And I've recently looked into myself, not even looked into myself, but I picked up my mantle in praying again and really seeking God and really dealing with things differently, being more understanding. Thank God for my classes that I'm doing. Last semester I did a class on human behavior, and they have me to see why people behave the way they behave and traumas and stuff like that. So that also helped me to identify, look into myself and see where these traumas coming from, these triggers and stuff like that. So I looked at myself and I saw where all of this, the root problem of me even feeling depressed or anxiety, I figured that out. I figured that I've lost myself a long time ago. I lost myself around 25 years ago. Let's just say, because, you know, you're a kid, but literally lost myself 25 years ago. But when I come to the realization, I lost myself 15 years ago. For 15 years, I have been living for everybody else except myself. It took me 15 years to realize that. It took me 15 years to say no and actually meant it. It took me 15 years to stand up for my mental health. And this is going to be a long story, so I may have to split it because here comes the emotional part. And I've decided to share this part of me because I'm a very transparent person. And I know for a fact that whatever God is bringing me through is not just for me to go through it, right? It's for somebody else, as well as to help me, but it's for somebody else. It took me 15 years to say no more. No more. A lot of times we don't realize that we put people over ourselves. We put people before us. And we have always been putting ourselves behind the scene. I've always thought that me putting myself behind and putting others was a selfless thing, and I would be depressed, I would be out, and if someone hit me up, I would just wipe my face, get it together, and be there for the person, because that's what we consider a good friend. I've always put myself on the back burner, right? But it took me 15 years to say no. And when I share this story, it's not to bash anybody. It's not to discriminate anybody, but to show you my journey of where I'm coming from to where I'm at right now. When I had the conversation with God, I was just praying, and it led to literally just sitting down and having a conversation. And I started to thank him for things that I've went through, for things that I have taken for granted, for things where people weren't able to overcome, and people weren't able to stand up for their own. For 15 years, I've been fighting a battle mentally and emotionally with families. And it's like I have felt like I wasn't able to express I was feeling. I never had moments to be sad. I never had moments to cry. So I grew up being afraid of showing my emotions to people because it was considered weak. So here now, everybody sees and knows and put Angelica in a category that she's so strong, while I was dying mentally. And every time I've thought about it, and I've said, the thought will come. It said, if I'm not here tomorrow, everyone will be surprised at the fact that Angelica was not really, she was strong to be able to hold in these emotions, but she was really going through it. It's not that I was hiding, or portraying, oh, she's so strong, but that's all I knew. I've shared this story before when I was younger, how I would used to express and my words were left twisted up. And I stopped sharing with people And it's not okay. It's not okay for you to be lost in your very thoughts, lost in your very emotions, lost in how you feel, and you're not able to express it. One recent thing hurt me. It really did hurt me recently. Was the fact that I've always felt like Angelica has to keep her emotions in. She has to hold it together for everybody else, because everybody needs an Angelica. You know, I never had a problem with being there for friends, being there for loved ones, because I felt like, because no one was there for me how I wanted them to be there for me, I felt like I needed to do that. I placed that weight on my shoulder. I carried that weight for years. I've realized that I've carried people's emotions for years, plus my very own. And when I've realized that it literally took me 15 years. 15 years it took me. And when I finally stood up for myself, I was so proud. I was so proud. And a recent incident happened, and I said that, why is it that I always have to pause my life for everybody else? It was not meant to be rude. It was not meant to be of any disrespect to anybody. It's how I felt. And I stated how I felt because of how I was feeling for months. Again, I was shut down. It's like, I don't care about your emotions. I don't care how you feel. I don't care with what's going on with you, because nothing is ever going on with Angelica. So it was just, I blocked that out. I gave zero energy to that. Then now, when all of the family members, or some of my family members rather, came and asked me about the situation, I stood up for myself. I stood up for my mental health. And I said, I am no longer giving anybody that much power over my mental state. I was like, anybody who comes close to affecting my mental health, I don't care who you are. You could be family. You could be a loved one. I do not care. You could be a friend for years. I do not care who you are. My mental health is important. I've heard speech, lectured, but it did nothing to me. I no longer felt guilty. My mental health got so bad that it affected my physical body for a whole month. I was so stressed that I could not eat anything without feeling nauseous or sick. And I finally, after that, because I said the outcome is gonna be Angelica, like she gonna die. And I've taken my power back to finally say, no, I'm putting myself first and putting my mental health first. I was so proud that a situation happened, and normally I would put it on my head. You never know how hard it is when you're in your space alone and you're saying to yourself, Angelica, leave it alone. Angelica, leave it alone. You're speaking to your inner self to let something go. And at that moment, I knew I was strong enough to be Angelica again. Literally pain on top of pain on top of pain to be where I'm at now. I'm at the place now where I'm at such peace. Peace, sweet peace. And even if something happens, I am at peace where I can go to God and say, God, this is the situation. I'm not saying that I'm not going to get upset or, feel frustrated at things happening. But it feels good not living your life for somebody else. It feels good knowing that you can finally live for you and nobody else. And I'm so thankful and so grateful for that, to the point where being my complete self, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, is able to bring forth the abundance that God had for me all these years. Because all these years I've been carrying load, I've been carrying weight that wasn't meant for me to carry. And I remember before I moved to Pennsylvania, I didn't know what was happening. God literally stripped me from everything. And I remember stating many of times that I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Ask somebody else, because I felt that I was being drained spiritually. I was dying spiritually. Because I was so caught up in living for everybody that I didn't even get a chance to even a break to build my relationship back with God, because there was so many things throwing at me. And mentally, I needed a break, a breather, a time to grasp for air in order to be my true self, to be able to even minister to anybody. Because I've always said that I do not want to preach people in and preach myself out. I don't want to preach from a broken place. I've had a pastor tell me that they didn't know where I was, that they thought I was shacking up. For all my years, October is going to be 13 years of being saved. I've never had someone to look at me and told me that. Not knowing at that time, it was a whole lot of stuff. Whew. I felt that release. There was so many stuff going on with me. Spiritually, learning new stuff about me. Healing. Mentally trying to get it right. I was literally bleeding out for help. And all you could have said to me, that you thought I was shacking up. It didn't hurt me until when I literally look into it, I'm like, yo, God, I've just been taking this time out to know you on a different level, you know? And that's all you could think of, you know? Someone who you would consider your spiritual leader. That's all they thought about you. All this time I was traveled to Jamaica, came back after quarantine. That's all you thought of? Ooh. That hurt for a bit, you know? So when I say everybody just see Angelica as strong, Angelica who, she could never be going through that, or that ain't her. I'm thankful, and I'm not shedding tears from a hurt place. It's just looking back and see of all I've been through. The journey, ooh, was tough, and it's still ongoing. But I don't want this to go over 30 minutes. It's still ongoing. The journey is tough, but to know I'm at the place now where I know I have a voice and I can say no and mean it. It takes a lot for somebody who have been shunned emotionally to say no. It takes a lot out of them. It took me 15 years. So if you are somebody who have went through it like me, I promise you, you will get through it. The journey, the process is hard, but you're gonna get through it. You might lose a lot of people and a lot of relationship by choosing yourself, but just know that whoever you lose by choosing yourself, they were just there taking from you and never giving. You don't want those people in your life. You want people who you're able to give to and they pour back into you. Don't allow people to constantly drain you of all your strength that you don't even have time for yourself. Take care of yourself first. And oftentimes we hear, oh, these stuff happen because you don't love yourself. It's not the fact that you don't love yourself. It's the fact that your mind, literally, mentally, have been trained a certain way at a young age, or trauma have caused your mind to be in a certain way and process certain things a certain way that it affects you. But I am so proud of myself that I chose me. And let's just say this, y'all. Stop putting people in categories. Like, stop putting people in categories. It's not cool. It's not okay. But y'all, there's definitely gonna be a part 2 because this story is long. But I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of putting myself first and saying no and saying yes to my mental health, because nobody's worth more than my mental health. And I mean, nobody. The block button is too easy to do, boo. Anyways, y'all, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the notification bell. And your girl is out. Bye.